How's it going, everybody? My name is Will Robson. You can check out my work at facebook.com/RobsonInc or on Twitter at RobsonInc. So I'm starting this new sort of video series of sketch cards. I had an old pack of Pokemon cards in my room, and I was looking at them, and I was thinking about sketch cards because I've seen people at conventions do them. So I sort of took a bit of my Bristol board paper and I sort of used the Pokemon card to measure it out, and now I've got these little cards, which are quite fun. And what I want to do is, I was going to start doing sort of big, well, not big, but what's the size? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what size it is, but there's smaller bits of paper, smaller than a regular piece of paper. I was going to start doing one of those a day, or a sketch card a day. Or a sketch cover a day, but I realised I'd rather sort of bust something out quickly and just to practice on instead of doing something in my sketch pad, and something to potentially sell at cons and things like that. So what I've done now is I bought an old trading card book that's see-through, and I'm basically going to try and do one of these every day, keep it vaguely themed. I've done Captain America here, but then I went off and drew Spider-Man and Black Cat. Sorry, I forgot a name there. So I'm going to try and keep it themed though. There's nine spots, so I'm going to try every 9 times try and do a different theme, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, X-Men, bunch of different themes basically. Street Fighter would be fun as well, and I think it would just help me because what I'm doing is I'm buying some Copic markers, which are expensive, but I'm trying to invest in them to get good at them. So I'm just going to sort of slowly build up my skills. So this sketch cover or sketch card is not very good. This is my first one, and I'm not used to drawing this small. I'm not used to drawing traditional inking. So, and I'm really not. I never draw people straight on because I always think they look really flat. But I decided that all of these sketch cards I'm going to use drawing stuff that I'm not comfortable with. I'm not just going to bust out really like something I'm really good at. I might do that at a con or something because it's quick and easy to do, but I'm going to spend my time working on the stuff that I'm weak at. So I'm weak at drawing people straight on. I'm weak at drawing or inking hair, which I did with Black Cat traditionally. I'm fine. It's so weird. I'm fine with inking digitally, and I'm also pretty good with a nib now as well. But you can't use a nib like a dip pen with ink with colors because it just bleeds and pulls it all out. I did attempt that with a Cyclops, which I have here, and yeah, all the hair, like all the ink is blended into it, and it kind of ruined my markers a bit as well. So I thought, right, not doing that anymore. But with the nib, I can get my inks looking fairly decent, more towards my traditional, my digital stuff. And then I also drew Spider-Man in profile, because I'm not very good at drawing people in profile. So again, just working on everything I'm not very good at. Also working on trying to get these markers better. I'm trying to blend them a bit more. I don't think the colours came out great on this, but if you look at the other ones I've done, they're a bit more blended. And once I get these Copic markers, I think I'm going to, because I'm right now using Pro markers, which are sort of just a flat colour, but I'm going to try and blend them both because I cannot afford every single Copic. So if I can try and find a way to blend the Pro markers by laying like a base colour down with the Pro marker and then sort of blending with the Copics, then that should be good. So what I'm using here is just a big, I think, what's the millimeter on this? 0.7 millimeter mechanical pencil. And I was only using this because basically I'm doing this because Todd Knock does his post-it things every morning, and I just thought that's a great way to just warm up and get good. And then now I am using a 0.05 micron, which again I shouldn't have used. Like I was trying to just use different tools. Like I'm going to be with each one I'm going to use like a different line width until I just find comfortable. And then now I'm using a Zebra extra fine brush, which I really like. Once you get the control down a bit of these brushes, they're super fun to use, and they sort of they're just really comfortable, and they don't bleed either, which is great. Because that's the problem. It's like if you're doing these all in color as well, then you're going to have a chance where everything's going to be bleeding, which you obviously don't want. So I'm still using this brush here. Just laying down little spots, anatomy and such. But yeah, I made the top of his head a bit too small, so he's gonna kind of have a small head. But I also want to try and get a designy feel to all of this as well. Like the background, I'm putting, well, I did put like this American flag design in there. With Black Cat, I have like the spider pattern in the background and stuff like that. So I'm just branching out. I'm also trying to get a feel for the, like, getting used to drawing these characters as well. So when I'm at cons and people request them, I don't have to necessarily have reference to be like, how do I draw the diamonds on Captain America's clothes, or how do I want to draw them, how do I interpret them, etc. I just want to get to the point where I can just sit there and draw away, which I know is something that will never really happen. You like, you know, if I'm drawing a certain gun I've never drawn before, I need to reference it. But as I said before in my last video, you don't blatantly copy something, because that is plagiarism. Only blatantly copy stuff when you're practicing in your sketchbook and you're not trying to sell anything, basically. Like, I draw a lot of Greg Capullo, Todd Knock, J. Scott Campbell, all that stuff in my sketchpad, but I keep it in my sketchpad because that's where it belongs. So it looks like I switched back to the 0.05 here, and I just wasn't digging it. It was too small of a nib, because I've been watching a lot of videos and I've been realizing that the way I use my nibs, my microns, is completely wrong. I'm like putting way too much pressure down and trying to get like a perfect line, but really I need a thicker brush and I need to do more quick flicks. That's something I noticed Todd Knock doing a lot. If you don't know who I'm talking about, just look up Todd Knock, Todd space Nauck on YouTube. He's got some amazing videos, like my videos, except with Copic markers and traditional inking, and it's really inspiring to watch, so definitely go check him out. As I said, pretty much the whole reason why I started doing these little sketch cards. I don't know if you can actually buy sketch cards, because I was just cutting up pieces of paper. I also was thinking of getting stickers to put on the back of them so that they actually look like little trading cards, but I think that would be a bit excessive. So again, like doing it like the eyes here, like I just wasn't feeling comfortable with this pen, and that's the problem with traditional inks, is that you got to commit to it. Luckily, colors can cover up a lot of mistakes, so that does help. But the only problem with these, you'll see when I first lay this down, and I have a scanned image of this final piece that I'll show at the end. I went back and I blended the colours a bit more, because I just sort of figured out how to do it, because I was keeping the colours too separate, basically. So now I am using a, what's this brush called again? A Pentel Pocket Brush, which has a really interesting range of brush strokes. If you can learn how to control it, which I haven't yet, but I know that once I can really do some interesting stuff with it, because it can go from extremely thin to extremely thick, just depending on how much pressure and tilt that you put onto the brush. So now I'm going back in there with one of my favourite brushes, which is a Kuretake extra fine brush. It's a really sort of, if you're heavy-handed like I am, like you can push a lot of pressure down and not have to worry. But that's like one thing I'd find hard, is like I need to get into this flicking of the microns and really not touching lightly, because I just have a heavy hand. I like to sort of dig my my pen into it, and I think this just comes from like thinking about it as a nib. Like with a nib you can put a lot of pressure down and get not that much range, depending on the nib you're using, of course. So this is another little tool of mine which I love, which is my electric rubber, or eraser for the Americans watching. It really gets rid of pencil marks, and it's a fun little tool. And every time I use it, if I'm around my girlfriend or my family, they're like, "What is that?" Because they just hear a noise, they think I'm like brushing my teeth or I'm at the dentist or something. So now I'm using Pro markers. Let me see if I can tell you what colours I'm using as I go. This one I'm using there is a true blue. That's the colour of that, which I got in a big pack of Pro markers of just the standard colours. So I'm changing the way I do my colours now. Before I laid down my dark tones, as you're seeing here, and then I went in with the lighter tones. But after watching Todd Knock's videos, he lays down a base tone, which would be the tone that I do next, and then goes over it with a darker tone, and that way you get more of a blend. Otherwise, you're going to see right here, you're going to get this separation of colour. So I'm just adding a bit more of this true blue into there. If you hear me moving about, it's because I have all my markers next to me so I can tell you what I'm using, because try to help save some questions. Okay, so this now is a sky blue, and I think the since this came in a pack, I think I need an extra blue in between those to really make them combine. Because right now those colours look a bit too separated, and I didn't leave enough room for highlights and stuff. Basically, instead of being like, let me show you how to make something like this, I'm like, let me show you how to avoid making the mistakes I did. It's the opposite of a Todd Knock video. And then what's this now? Oh, that's just a warm grey number 2. Using that to try and blend a bit more colours into there. And then I'm using that there, warm grey number 2. Warm, not war. And this is just so you can have, you know, make the whites pop a little bit more. And then I think, like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I'm just chucking in a bunch of different cool greys and warm greys and trying to blend stuff. And then again, I really should have not done the dark shadow first, because there's way too much pink in this. But as I said, it's all a learning experience. That's why I wanted to post the first one I did, so that you can see that there'll be progress from the first one to the next one. So yeah, I'm just trying to lay in like a shadow. I'm trying to have him sort of backlit, but only his mask is saying he's backlit, which is a lot of like a Captain America look, but his body I didn't really make backlit, so it's a bit of strange lighting. So I went in there. So these skin colours, I believe, are, let's have a look. The first one was a pastel pink, and then the next one was, I believe, a blush, or a dusky pink. And it's dusky pink, I think. Yeah, dusky pink. And then I use like a lighter tone later on. But again, these are all the markers I have. I didn't buy too many individually. They all come in the pack. So if you get pro markers, you get the basic pack of 12, which is where I got all my basic colours from. Skin colour pack and all this type of stuff. So here I'm just adding a little bit of design in there, this American flag in the background, which makes it already look a lot better. I wish I did a bit more design on my Spider-Man one. I tried to do his spider sense tingling, but it kind of just looks like he's being shot by lightning. And again, you can see all of these sketch covers on my Facebook, which the link is in the bottom right corner. Excuse me, sorry, I just woke up. That's what we're doing now. Now I'm trying to get a bit fancy, I think. This is where I get fancy. I'm going to add a silver border around Captain America and around the border of everything. Yep. And I really like this because actually, like, when the light hits all the cards, like, you see this really nice glow. I know Todd Knock does white around his stuff, and a lot of people do white around their stuff. But I decided to do silver, so it's just a bit different, and it's something that makes it pop. And also covers up a bit, like, it distracts your eye from the artwork a bit, so things, it all helps in the end. I know Tom McFarlane, like, he used to say that a lot. Like, when he was starting out, he used to cover up a lot of his bad art with flashy things. And I'm definitely not a bad artist digitally, but my traditional stuff is just weak in comparison. That's the whole reason why I'm doing these, so I can get better. So now I'm using a white pen. I believe it is, hang on, I got it in front of me. It's called a Hybrid Gel Grip DX. And it's a funny pen, like, the ink doesn't really flow, you have to really sort of focus on it. And these highlights I put in, I was just guessing and I completely balled that up there. So not the best idea. And now I'm just taking a silver Sharpie, because I have loads of them from Comic-Cons. And I always do this where I make a border. And you can see there, I messed up. You see that little border drip, which I go over with some white out, and then I put some red ink over it. So yeah, I tried to cover it up with the marker, didn't work. And then I tried to cover it with the gel pen. Oh, maybe I did use a gel pen then. And that's basically it for that. At that stage, I did go back and I blended the colours a bit more. You can see now, I'm back at it. This was like a couple seconds later, where I took a Copic marker, which I believe is a C5. Yeah, it's a C5. And I tried to blend the colours a bit more. It didn't really work out. I wish I filmed me doing the Black Cat, because that one came out a lot better, but I'm trying to add a sort of bit more blending. The next video, I think you'll see a much better blend of colours than this one. It's still a fun little sketch cover though. I mean, it's a tiny little piece of art, so it's very difficult. And then I added a Copic into the background to just sort of separate him from the background a bit. And that is it. So here is the final piece. You can see I blended the colours a bit better, but still not super happy with it. But this is test one. I mean, I'm going to draw one of these a day. I can't promise I'll do a video of these every day, maybe once a week. But yeah, that's the plan. Thanks for watching, everybody. You can check out my work at facebook.com/RobsonInc or on Twitter @RobsonInc. See you guys. Bye.